Good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome to NFT Live on the Web3 Network. We're going to take you around the industry here in just about an hour. I'm sitting here with some awesome co-hosts, so a great guest that we're about to jump into Ordinals and all things happening again around Web3. So excited for this one. A lot of breaking news happening. Before we get to all that stuff, I want to go around here and get some quick intros. Mark, Biggie, Poppins, Gifted. Let's go around clockwise. Let's hit it. Mark, good to see you again, sir.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thanks for having me. I think fourth time.
Fourth time, man.
Fourth time, yeah. A lot of fun with my favorite shillers.
That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. Biggie Poppins, how you doing?
I'm fantastic, man. I'm ready to get into it. It's a long time coming. It's a conversation that's hot, in the socials, and I can't wait to dig in.
Awesome. Gifted.
What's up, Mark? Welcome back. Our favorite special guest, of course. Y'all, if you haven't, I'm sure most of you haven't because you just got here. Smash the like. We got an awesome show for you. We got Mark from Megapixe and the unicorns.
Say it.
Megapixies.
I guess let's get it out of the way quickly.
PIXE Coin.
A hard question
PIXE
up front.
Token.
Gifted has been calling the unicorns gay. Is it open for interpretation? Are some straight, some gay? This is a hard question. I know.
And by the way,
hardball.
that's not a negative.
It's
Is
not
that
a
live?
negative.
Is that the
I'm
live
not
price? Is that that's
proud.
higher than mint, right? Like, incredible.
I don't know.
There you go.
They meant it out. Hey, look, I'm holding on to mine.
Yeah, they're incredible. Look at them.
They're proud. Look,
beautiful.
they are proud, and I love that for them.
I mean, they're sensational. It was a lot of fun working on this. It was like one of those collections that when my kids were looking over my shoulder, they were like, "I want one of those," and I was like, "They're probably going to be too expensive." And then I realized
I want to do what Daddy does for work.
Yeah, like I want one of these. It's like my kids look at Pudgy penguins and they're like, "I want one of these." I'm like, "No, you absolutely can't have one of those things."
It reminds me of that meme that's basically my parents at 30 just buying a house, putting down a mortgage. Me at 30 buying these unicorns.
Yeah, unicorns and yeah. I mean, look, it was supposed to just be one of those fun drops, and it was fun, and that's why we set the price so low, right? Like,
I had the talk with my dad over the holidays. Of course.
Did he mint one? Did your dad mint one?
No, but look, of course, 2 to 3 years after I was shilling my dad on buying Bitcoin and Ethereum, he's just now like, oh yeah, how do I buy some of that? Whatever. The point is, talking about tokens and like what I'm doing with my life. At some point I had to have the talk with him about like, look, I'm never going to be able to afford a house unless I'm swinging for the fences and trying to get 100Xs. And this is what that looks like. I'm buying the unicorns, JPEGs. This is how I'm going to eventually own a home.
Wow.
That's my generation.
We can all only hope. Yes.
My house with a white picket fence is a gay unicorn on the blockchain. That's what I'm trying to say.
Incredible. Well, I'm happy to be a part of that little dream of the white picket fence.
I'm glad how organized we are on days when Mark comes in. Like it's all straight edge. It's all on point. No, we just get after it here on these episodes. So we're going to do a little bit of that here. We're going to talk Megapixe. We're going to talk the Teleburn, the Megapixies, the PIXE Token, all the stuff you guys are doing over there, Mark. It's awesome. You guys are just shipping, delivering, doing some really cool stuff. We have a lot of people in the house here early. Jawa, BLT, DP, Cats Fanatic, Christian Jensen, SP, all of you guys that are Indominus that are showing up early. We appreciate you guys, our vibe, our tribe. We are definitely here and going to have an excellent episode. Before we jump into the news that has been breaking, because usually all these projects, they wait till after we're live to drop all this news. We got it right before we press live here. Literally in the past hour, just a rush of different things happening. But before we do that, I would like to queue up Gifted here to talk about us not being financial advisors.
Oh, right. I wasn't sure where you're going to go with that. But of course, you went to the one place that we should always go, and that is, you know what it is. Do not speckle. It's the one law here in the wild, wild Web 3. And of course, what does do not speckle means? Well, let me tell you. It means always do your own research. We're not financial advisors. I know that you look at us as buttoned up and good-looking fellas as we tend to be, and you could say, hey, they look pretty smart. and affluent. They probably
I should ape into these unicorns with them.
Yeah, they probably have great financial advices. Nay, says the unicorn. We are not financial advisors, and none of this is financial advice. It never has been, never will be. Thank you very much.
All right, here's the episode for today. I'm going to drop it in chat. If you're watching on X, if you're watching on YouTube, Twitch, we appreciate you guys. Obviously, we're going to talk about the Pixies and Megapixes and Megapon and everything Ordinals. I do want to get right up front and deliver some of the breaking news. So that's where we're going to hop here in just a moment. Does anybody have anything else? Anybody want to leave before this starts? Because I feel like it's going to get weird.
I want to sincerely apologize to Marty McFly. I have not set up my Rabby wallet yet, and looks like you're probably right. And so I'm going to do it today, Marty. If you're out there, you were right. I just want to say that.
Felipe saying, what do you mean I follow all your financial advices? Pizza Daddy saying, Mark has the biggest head ever. DP saying, not financial advice should be obvious. Skiff is wearing a Yuga sweatshirt. So with that, we're going to throw off on today's episode.
Don't forget I sold at 50 ETH.
There you go. That's true. That's true. There you go. And then threw it all into Pepe because we can't have nice things here. We are degenerates. Blast put out this announcement right before we went live. The Blast testnet is officially live. With it, the Blast Big Bang competition officially begins. Blast has been in the news, obviously, with 1.3 billion in TVL. I think they were the fastest to reach that number, by the way. The team behind Blur is set to launch this alt chain, and obviously wants to see it be very successful. Again, 12 minutes ago this was posted, so we haven't had time to jump in. Does anybody have any thoughts here on Blast testnet going live?
I'm curious, Mark. Did you lock up any ETH for Blast? Are you doing any farming whatsoever? I imagine it must be hard to keep up with these things. Being a full-time builder too.
I have not put anything into Blast. I think we need more blockchains is my comment to Blast. I don't know. I'll put some into it when it launches, right? And we've got LiveNet and I can see what's being built on that. But at the moment it's just too speculative, and I didn't want to speculate that much. And it's locking it up. I know you're getting some interest, but there's plenty more places that you can allocate capital, right? As opposed to locking it up for months on end and hoping that something interesting happens.
All right, some details here. Devs are going to be able to register before February 16th to join the Blast Builder Slack. There's going to be a submission process, and then they're going to obviously select these winners for potential rewards. Mark, or let me just open up to anybody. What you kind of said that facetiously, like we need more blockchains. Well, I mean, we want to see more innovation when it comes to these blockchains, but what's like the sweet spot? You're basically saying there's too many of these things obviously popping off. Is there a sweet spot in there, though, that we could find?
It's all going to depend on what's built on Blast, right? More than anything else. Like, point to any EVM-based L2 or like sidechain. None of them really have a killer use case right now. We've seen people jump from them to them backwards and forwards, even dApp builders or NFT projects, DeFi protocols, so on and so forth. Blast will be nothing without the apps that are built on it. So I do think this competition is a good idea, right? What you want to do is attract the builders, because ultimately they're going to be the ones that attract people to the chain. It's not going to be the chain protocol itself. So that's a good idea, right? We'll get some indication of some of the cool stuff that can be done on Blast by following just that program. So good idea.
Yeah, we're going to be watching this unlock process too that happens, I believe, mid-February. I mean, you're talking about $1.3 billion. Where does that all go? What incentives do they place to have it stay locked up in that platform? Will be interesting to watch. All right, I'm going to be quickly moving through this here. So unless anybody's got any last thoughts on Blast, I'm going to hit this next piece.
Hit it.
All right, this is from Monad. So Monad just put out this post basically that says they have a partnership with LayerZero Labs to allow for seamless asset transfers and connections to 50+ chains. So obviously that's, the LayerZero Labs, that's what they're looking to do, is make kind of that multi-chain future happen. And it looks like Monad is going to be part of it. We were talking a little bit before we press live about Monad. Biggie, do you have any thoughts on that chain? Mark, I don't know how much you could say about what we were speaking about, but Monad seems to be having some good things going for it.
I think it's one of those top bill projects that you want to keep your eye on, right? Like both, I mean, I think LayerZero for starters, from the, you know, data availability, modular chain narrative, I think is one of the biggest players along with Celestia, and then add Monad on top of it. And I think it's a killer combo, man. I'm keeping a close eye on it.
Yeah, also in that parallelization, right, the narrative that's been popping up here over the last time. Any thoughts here, guys, on Monad and whether we're getting involved? I don't know if can users interact with Monad right now. I know they're in like some sort of test net or maybe even pre-test net phase. I don't think users can actually do anything.
Yeah, I think they're still in that state where they're onboarding builders. I mean, I'm seeing and hearing great things about what they're doing. So I'm closely following Monad, and I'm really impressed with a lot of what they're doing right now. So it's one to watch.
So Mark pointed out that we've got a plethora, myriad chains all popping up, many different protocols. And I'm curious, you know, what is the thing that makes you more bullish or actually want to start adopting ones early versus others? Like Blast, you say is too risky and doesn't make sense, yet they've got more liquidity, financing, and, you know, experienced product builders than probably most chains. And then this one you say is interesting. Is it like you're just looking for a specific use case, or is there something about, hey, I know someone on the team giving me insight? Or like, what is the thing that makes you more bullish on one chain over the other when there's so many to choose from?
Yeah. Use cases, how they carry themselves, the team, the makeup, a whole bunch of sort of intrinsic qualities that you need to look quite deeply for. But at the base of it, Monad pitches, you know, we're solving a problem, right? That's what we're all about. We're all about scaling EVM, and we're going to solve a problem. Whereas Blast potentially are saying that, but you know, I dislike the marketing hype of, hey, let's lock up $1 billion. I know they didn't aim to raise $1 billion, but it's just a very different approach to solving a problem.
But where does marketing fit into your analysis, I guess?
Well, when you look at the history of crypto projects, the ones that make the biggest bang with marketing usually pop the loudest too, right? It's always the ones that are shipping with substance. That's not to say that Blast isn't going to, by the way. And that's why I said that I'm willing to like wait and see what they do, what builders they attract, what dApps are built on top of their platform. And I think we should do the same with Monad, right? If they came out and launched a token and said, hey, lock up a whole bunch of liquidity, I would say the same thing, which is let's just wait and see what happens on these chains and who builds on them and what value is really there.
All right, I want to move us on because I do want to talk everything you're doing over there with Megapon, Mark. The last thing I will touch on, which was breaking news, and we can briefly touch this, and then when Mark actually has to run in 30 minutes, we can come back to it. But Dookey Unclogged was just announced by Yuga Labs Gaming. It looks like they're bringing the Dookey game back with a couple different caveats. There's going to be different type of rewards. So you can see by this video that you're going to potentially have the ability to win golden plungers, which I'm assuming are NFTs. I see a lot of ApeCoin logos in there. So there's ApeCoin rewards. And you can see right at the end here, mobile and desktop, which was not available last time. So
I liked Mo's point that they should have a golden throne instead of golden plungers. But
so, Mark, this is the last question I'll ask you before we jump into Megapon. This flippering is the term that Gifted is now getting into my head, I guess. The flippering with Pudgy Penguins potentially going over Bored Ape Yacht Club. What are your thoughts, quickly?
Firstly, I'm bullish on them re-releasing this game. It was so much fun. That actually is my last memory of Yuga Labs doing anything fun and where people are really excited about anything. They still had that mystery about them. You know, I remember, was it Christmas sort of 2022 where they released the trailer and everyone's like, what are they doing? And trying to, you know, read into everything. And the game, I had a lot of fun doing it and playing it. So I'm bullish on this. It's interesting that they're re-releasing it. I wonder if there's a twist on it. But like Pudgy have the narrative now in terms of flipping apes, right? They're only, they're 13 ETH. They need to run to 25. How many times have we seen a project run to 25? If you know it was in the bull, but
it can
happen. It can happen though, right? It can happen. It just takes a little bit of liquidity going into the right place. And they have the narrative. So I wouldn't be shocked. Do I think it's going to happen? I'm probably 50-50. But I wouldn't be shocked.
Coin flip. There it is. All right. I don't want to waste any more time. I would love to have a full episode talking about that stuff. But we do want to get into Megapont and these awesome unicorns and the Teleburn and PIXE Token. And I think we had a community. Tyler Ghost saying LFG mark PIXE to $1. So we're going to touch on all of that stuff.
Please.
Get DGen with it. Where do we want to start? Biggie, I'll let you lead this a little bit. You obviously have been
I'd love to get
it.
Mark's thoughts on what's happening in Ordinals right now, right? Because they have just, I don't know, blasted off to a ridiculous mania that's going on right now, right? Like we had, I think Node Monkeys could be one of the ones that are attributed to this, right? That lit the fuse. Then you had the shadow hats. Now you have the pizza ninjas coming up. And then there's a whole slew, right? Like Taproot Wizards and the Quantum Cats. And honestly, Mark, as bullish as I am on Bitcoin and on Ordinals, I've been staying away. I do own some Ordinals that I minted from early on in the year where things were a little more chill. Right now, man, it just feels like there's a lot of speculation mania and maybe some ETH whales coming in to kind of pump these projects. And while I am bullish on some of them, just because of the fact that it's on very clunky infrastructure and I'm not a whiz on manipulating the mempool, I'm staying away for the time being. What are your thoughts on that, man? It's since last we spoke, this thing is blasted up until Valhalla right now.
Yeah, it feels like when I first came on to talk about Ordinals, it was early and nobody wanted to allocate capital there, right? And everyone was like, what is this crap? There's no wallets, there's no marketplace, this is garbage. And then next time, the builders had started shipping products and it was a little bit easy to use. And now it genuinely feels like all of the interest, and maybe I'm in an echo chamber here. So there's definitely that bias for sure. But I'm struggling to see hyped NFT mints on ETH now. Builders are choosing a Bitcoin. The $1 million mints are happening on Bitcoin, not Ethereum these days. All of the hype and the marketing and the influencers are pointing to Bitcoin. I think it's more a case of the world just becoming, blockchain agnostic as well. The days of maxis have just dissipated. They're gone now. Everyone who was on Solana, they're now playing with ETH, DeFi, and they've gone back to Solana and Bitcoin. And Bitcoiners hold CryptoPunks and a whole bunch of other stuff. So I think people have just grown up a little bit and are just willing to move around and play with other blockchains. But there's a lot of hype in Ordinals right now, and one of the differences between Ordinals and the come up and Ethereum NFTs is we've learned a lot from Ethereum NFTs. So a lot of openly now, if you launch an Ordinal project and you're trying to extract $5 million of liquidity and people don't think it's a good idea, you're just called out. I mean, we were all here in 2021. Every other day there was a $2.5 million rug of some crap art from Fiverr on ETH, and it would mint out instantly. You're not seeing that. I'm not saying that every project is high quality, but typically speaking, the builders there are putting in a whole bunch more effort. They're creating a community. They have to engage with the ecosystem as a whole because launching an Ordinal project is hard. So I'm really bullish on Ordinal projects right now, and the maturity that they're reaching so quickly is amazing even for me to see. Did you get in on Node Monkeys, Biggie?
No, man. I
don't understand how that happened, considering everyone in Megapont was basically shouting for everyone to buy these things.
Dude, honestly, I had them. I was in the Discord. I followed them all the way until the end. I was really bullish on what the mint mechanics were going to be like. Mm-hmm. And then in the end, they played that switcheroo, right? Where it became
the paid mint.
Fucking cash grabby to me, man. And honestly, I don't know. Part of me, my DGen brain, the one that wants to just make money and doesn't give a crap about things, is why don't you just fucking do this? On the other hand, this other part that's, I don't know, a little more idealistic. I couldn't go through with it. I didn't want to play that game. And honestly, having been part of Megapont and Stacks, when we were called out being crazy, right? For even considering NFTs on BTC or L2s, even less so, right? It just rubbed me the wrong way that all of a sudden, we had these, all these different projects launching left and right. And I just saw it as like a deliberate, I don't know, like pumping of the bag. And like seeing all these spaces pop up and talk about like Bitcoin culture and how this is different from Ethereum and everything. I don't know, like it just gave me pause. And also the fact that I think like, I don't know, I do treat my Bitcoin like sacrosanct, right? Like I don't like to touch it or spend it that easily. And when I saw these like people, getting front run, right? Like I did hear like from a lot of people like in the nodes, right? Like that were able to mint 40 or 20 because they know how to get transactions in the mempool before anybody else, right? And speed them up and so many things that I didn't want to play that game. On me, I suppose, but I still think there's plenty of opportunity, and I still think we have enough of a pullback coming to give me the liberty to maybe jump into these things and select what I want. I just didn't want to gamble, I guess. But yeah, I faded a mark, man. I know, man, and I won't do the same with Quantum Cats or Taproot Wizards. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, I'm just trying to be very selective about where I spend my Bitcoin, because when I look at ETH and what I spend my ETH on, I could have done better just holding on to my ETH in a lot of these projects. Some of them I'm happy I minted. Most of them I'm not. So I'm not going to do the same over on Bitcoin now, right? Like, and I'm just trying to be very, very selective about what I go into.
Yeah, I mean, we've all been here for a long time now, and the hot stuff right now didn't exist a year ago. There's always another opportunity. You don't have to rush and allocate capital carelessly in this space. And you're seeing people be a little bit smarter about that. Like before, people would just mint everything. Like they'd just like blanket mint everything that they could. And now people are being smarter, especially on Ordinals, because you're paying with Bitcoin, right? So they're a bit picky about what they mint. And one of the downsides that we are seeing on Ordinals is the mint prices are a lot higher. Seemingly projects are smoking crack and they're pricing mint in Bitcoin for the same equivalent ETH price and not realizing that there's a difference there. So it's like, it's really expensive, and some of the projects are warranted. If Taproot Wizards came out and said we're 1 BTC mint, it's probably going to mint out and it's probably going to go up from there. But you're seeing that newcomers to the space as well try the same trick, and it isn't always working. I think there's a few mints recently that haven't minted out because they're getting too greedy. So I think projects need to be cognizant of the fact that the projects that fly when they've got a high mint price, there's usually a reason for that. Maybe it's the founder, maybe it's the hard hustle that they've put in for 2 years before. I think obviously there's the Ninjas mint as well. It was supposed to happen today. They pushed it back 48 hours. They had some feedback that it's a high mint price, and it's like, well, TO's been building for a number of years. They've went out and picked like the best team that they could find with Bruff staff from Satoshables and some great art. And Trevor's hustling on the Ordinals podcast every day, so it's going to mint out, and the price is probably warranted. It would sell 4x that, I would imagine. But then if you're coming new from Ethereum and you think you can sell a 10K at 0.1 Bitcoin, then you're crazy.
Are those the supply numbers that we're seeing from a lot of these top collections, 10K, or do they range?
No, usually
like,
they're a bit less. So some of them are 10K. Ordinals trends to between 1 to 5K, I would say.
Okay.
And the community is quite small, right?
All right, so we have you for about 15 more minutes. So let's jump into this teleburn process. A lot of people that are in our community are basically, like, obviously have followed us into the Ordinals ecosystem and have hopefully taken your advice. We had Mark on literally almost a calendar year ago at this point, talking about Ordinals for the first time. And if you got word of that and you followed kind of what we were doing there, then yeah, good on you. But right now, what is happening with Ethereum and the potential to teleburn these projects to Bitcoin Ordinals?
Yeah, so we launched the Pixies collection, which was the Megapixes, the beautiful unicorns, these absolutely stunning NFTs that will change your life and get you a white picket fence house.
Wow.
They're sold out now. I put out a post. I was sick of these not selling out, and I put out a post because we conducted no marketing for this, and I said, just either mint these things out or I'm going to buy the rest of the supply this weekend. I'm sick of there being some left now. So these have minted out, and they're going to be the first collection that we use for the teleburn service that we're building. And it started off really small, janky, and horrible. And then we had to play with it internally, and I was like, this is... people can't click a button. They're not going to understand this process, and it's too expensive. It's not great. So we went back to the drawing board, and the first product that we're releasing is is an inscription service where you can use PIXE, the token related to these unicorns. So you can use the PIXE token. It's an ERC20 token, and you can inscribe anything the same way that you can use the other inscription services, but you can pay with that token. So you can use an ERC20 token to create a Bitcoin ordinal. So right now you need to have Bitcoin to create an ordinal. So you say, I want this JPEG to be on Bitcoin, and you pay the Bitcoin fee. Whereas what we've created is you say, I want this JPEG on Bitcoin, and you can pay the fee with an ERC20. So it's going to be the same fee. It's not like it's cheaper, but we all have dust and some shit coins in our wallets, and maybe we've never played with Bitcoin. So it's just an easier way for folks to get rid of a whole bunch of ETH and some of the liquidity that I have lying there, and create some ordinals. And then once we've shipped this, we'll have the full Teleburn service, which will be really interesting. Because what you can do is you can destroy your Ethereum NFT and create the equivalent of it on Bitcoin. And there's going to be two options then. There's going to be one, I just want to YOLO and do this, like people have done with Bored Apes, because you can do this currently, but it's really chunky. And there can be like a collection supported way of doing it, where a collection can use our service to create the parent and sort of say, we're getting started with this. So if you choose to do this on Ethereum, we will recognize your Teleburn. And we'll be the first instance of us doing that. So as a project, token gated roles, you can either use your Ethereum NFT or your ordinal. Like, it won't matter for Discord, and any of the utility, if there is a utility, would be available to both collections as well. So there's two ways to do it. But Teleburn is basically me saying, hey, I'm sick of this chain. I want to go over to Bitcoin. And it's like a traceable way of saying that this NFT now exists on another chain.
Is there a file size limit to what you're able to Teleburn onto the Bitcoin blockchain?
Yeah, well, it's 4 megabytes. Realistically, it's a little bit less. That would cost, right now, that's probably costing you 6 figures, I would imagine, to inscribe a 4 megabyte file in one block. Yeah, it would be crazy. So, and we did, so the way that pixies are created, I don't know if pixies too much, it's really quite clever. So the traits are inscribed individually, and the image that you see on OpenSea is actually rendered in real time from Bitcoin. So if you click through the image, and then on the left, you can see here, that's actually an ordinal generated in real time, that image. So I think if you go to follow the link, it takes you to like some ordinal portal, or it might, I don't know where it takes you actually. I can't see the URL. I think, is it Gamma maybe, the proxy we've gone through? Oh no, OpenSea will render their cached image.
Yeah.
But that image that you're seeing is generated in real time from Bitcoin, because that's where the NFT is generated. It's some JavaScript on Bitcoin, which is quite bizarre to wrap your head around a little bit there. So like when you go to the smart contract for Pixies and you read how it's generated in the URL and stuff, it's quite clever. It's quite cool. It's quite an interesting way of doing it. I think someone said there was like a small art project that done this before us potentially. We'll probably see a lot of other projects do this, and this is really just the evolution, I think, of on-chain art. Like Moonbirds, to their credit, also did this, right? CryptoPunks did this after the fact as well. You've got like Subducks. There's a whole bunch of projects where the image is on chain, and I see this in the chat. It's like S ordinals or Stackscriptions or ETHscriptions. All of these things can really just be categorized as everyone actually saying, we want our shit on chain now. That's what we want. Like, we want our art and we want our assets on chain. We don't want it to be pointing to IPFS or a server anymore. So that's really what that process is.
No, Mark, like there's like, what I love about this process or thing is that it started as a lighthearted, fun kind of experiment. But the longer I've sat with the idea, the more curious I become about like what we're gonna see happen once you unleash this tool upon these degens out there, right? Like, but my first inclination was like, yeah, sure, like, collections, artists that want to breathe in some new life into their collections, like, will be teleburning to Bitcoin, especially with what we're seeing play out right now, rightfully or wrongfully so. Like, their expectations will either be met or not. Mm-hmm. But now there's a whole bunch of questions that have arisen during my conversations with other people. One postulation that's come up, for example, is Tezos, right? Like, a lot of art collectors are in Tezos right now, and from very prominent artists that have done really well on Ethereum now, but their Genesis collections are on Tezos, right? And people are uncertain about the future of Tezos and the art on Tezos, right? Well, this is a great way of rescuing that art, right, before the chain dies, or in transporting it into something way more immutable like Bitcoin. That's one use case that I'm very interested to see what will happen, right? As also just like crazy people doing like teleburning an ape or a squiggle or a Fidenza, like, because there's always somebody out there that wants to say, I was first, this is the first one, right? And you know, either it'll catch on or not. And thirdly is this idea of using it as an artistic tool, right? Like artists actually using it as a way to maybe, you know, less expensively or more accessibly, you know, create their art very much like you did with the Megapixes, and then just teleburn it over to Bitcoin. Maybe even like, would it be possible to add like a transmutation, kind of like a burn to mint mechanic, the way you do with you know, Manifold and stuff like that?
Yeah, there would be a logical way that you could do the burn to mint. Then that would be an evolution of what we did with Megapunks, right? Where we put them all in the Emblem Vault, because that was the best way for us to do that. And the reason that we did that is there were no ordinal marketplaces that existed back then. So degens wanted to trade NFTs. Like, we couldn't say to people, "Oh, we're going to lock these NFTs until a marketplace existed," because they're just like, "I ain't buying that. Like, are you crazy?" So we went the Emblem Vault route, which is putting the actual ordinal in an Emblem Vault. Whereas now you realistically could say, actually, we want to migrate our collection, and the, you know, burn to inscribe would just be a little take on that. And I'm really excited to see some projects come back to life, because there are some projects who their floor is down in the trenches. They still are active in the community. So it's not like they've rugged. They still exist, but they just need something to give them a bit of life and something to reinvigorate their community and to get them back in the spotlight. Like, some great collections that exist with fantastic art, and maybe going to Bitcoin is just the little boost that they need, that nudge. Because I think that my biggest regret is not being bullish enough on ordinals. Like, I didn't expect them to go as crazy as they have done. And I think what a lot of artists and projects are looking at now is, holy shit, the market clearly wants immutable art to be on Bitcoin and as the data layer. How do we migrate over? And it is quite complex, and it's time consuming, and potentially the service that we build. And I was speaking to you, Biggie, obviously before this as well. We've brought in a great team now to take away some of the load from us at Megapont, so that we could build this quicker and in a more professional way. And, you know, hopefully we'll have a whole bunch of feature requests from big projects who say, we want to migrate our whole project. How can we do that?
Yeah, Mark, I want to get two quick questions out of the way. How much would it cost in general? You mentioned the PIXE token having the utility of, hey, you pay in PIXE. I wonder how much it costs one project to port maybe, you know, their entire collection of 3,300 NFTs. And then when is this launching? Because we've heard about it. You know, we were kind of waiting for it. We did see the Megapixe collection sell out. When is this all ready to be shipped?
Yeah, so the inscription service is launching towards the end of this month, early next month. Realistically, we're probably 2 to 3 weeks away. So there you'll be able to log in, inscribe whatever you want, pay with a PIXE token, and then there'll be a fast follow for the teleburn service once we've essentially asserted that our inscription service works, right? Because teleburning is just inscribing. It's just a wrapper on top of inscribing. So the inscription service has to come first. And we thought, instead of just holding that and not doing anything, well, we can release this to the degens and they can use this while we finish off the teleburn service. And hopefully it becomes a product that in many ways becomes bigger than Megapont itself, right? And we've done some really cool things that we haven't released yet, that repurposing a whole bunch of stuff we've built, so that when we release the inscription service, there'll actually be a whole bunch of stuff released as well at the same time, like other stuff that we've kind of shelved or we've put on the back burner. Okay. And we've now got a hub for it all, where it's owned by Megapont, but it's really like, this is something we've built for the whole space, and where there'll be a whole bunch of utility and tooling, primarily from Apollo, like things like the additions and, you know, snapshots and raffles and a whole bunch of other utility. So it's going to be like the central hub that we grow out.
Big GIF, you don't have to raise your hand here. I don't know why we're raising our hand. Mark, what's the final cost?
What, for us to build this?
No. For a collection that says, hey, I want to do this teleburn process.
So it depends on, I would say anywhere.
Quick question. Quick answer.
Okay, pixel collection. Let's say $25,000 to $50,000. Non-pixel, probably double that.
Okay.
I would say that's a 10K.
PIXE Token. That's all I heard.
That's a finger in the air. Say, like, don't come at me when you're like, "This my collection's costing $2 million, Mark." And you said 50 grand.
There's no more PIXE out to pay.
Yeah, and there isn't enough PIXE to pay for all of this stuff, right? So, I mean, who knows what happens there, right? It depends how much people use it.
I guess Gifted. Go ahead.
Long-time listener, first-time caller, GIF here. All right, I do not still have an Ordinals wallet because I've been slow playing it that much. If I teleburn, does it just go into Apollo? Like what happens?
You'll need an Ordinals wallet, so you'll need one. And what we'll do is when you go to do this, it will ask you to connect one, so you can't accidentally burn your ape. And
what wallet do you recommend, Mark?
I would recommend Leather, which has the worst SEO ever. Right, so you're gonna have to like search like Leather Bitcoin wallet. Otherwise, good luck.
Otherwise, you get all types of different wallets.
All types of wallets. Yeah, like you search Leather wallet, and what are you getting? Do you know what I mean? Like terrible name for SEO.
I'm pretty sure I've got like 8 of those in a closet somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. They were called
Hero was great.
They were called Hero, and they name changed to Leather.
But honestly, both of those horrible names for SEO.
Yeah. So Leather is even worse, right? But a Leather wallet is all you will need. And you won't need Bitcoin. You won't need anything, and that's why again you're the perfect reason that we're building this, which is hey, maybe I want to create a whole bunch of crap on Bitcoin, but I've got no Bitcoin. I don't even have a Bitcoin wallet. Whereas now you don't need that. You just dejoin with your Rabby wallet or whatever people on EVM use these days.
I love that you finally came on here and admitted that I'm the reason for your existence. That's beautiful. Thank you.
Mark, even like when it comes to minting, right? Like I can see a lot of people favoring paying this way for an ordinal as opposed to using the Bitcoin wallet, right? Just because of the transaction times and how clunky it can be, and also because you won't get your transaction feedback whether your transaction goes through or not. This is a way to somehow ensure that, or at least like give you something that you're a little more familiar with, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and that's why we built a payment startup, right? So payments is another topic for another day entirely. But yeah, I mean, we're seeing this as well. Example, we recently processed the Portal ICO, and we were the payments infrastructure for that. And Solana payments were a big proportion of that ICO. And until the last minute, there weren't even going to be Solana payments on there. They basically were saying to us that we don't think there'll be any volume. It's not worth the effort of doing this. And we pushed back and said, hey, no, like look at Bonk and look at the growth of Solana DeFi. Just put it on there. It's not going to cost you anything. They put it on there. And I think it blew everyone's expectations out the water. And then when we were testing Solana and other EVM chains, it's kind of nice, right? It's like instant and basically free. And you're like, hey, this is really cool. And then you come over to Bitcoin and you're like, oh, you got to wait 45 minutes, dude. And, like,
and pray.
And you're like, what? I'm waiting 45 minutes for my NFT. And then you got Solana and it's instant. You're like, what is this backwards ass chain? And then you're like, well, actually, we don't have smart contracts either. So you just wait until you dig in properly. So I think that the days of people, just using Bitcoin exclusively for mints is probably short-lived. Because there's some centralization in the creation of ordinals anyway, and that's important because that puts this process in there where realistically you could just pay with a credit card for an ordinal. There aren't any smart contracts, right? So you could just pay for a credit card and get the same outcome. Like, why are we actually doing the payment side on Bitcoin? It makes no sense. We want the NFT on Bitcoin, sure, but let me use my Amex for God's sake.
All right, Pizza Daddy saying nice Megapunk, and BLT saying I like my transactions to be as painful as possible. There is a little bit of alpha in there, as we know.
Yeah, well, obviously. Stacks, right? If any of you guys have used Stacks recently, right? Because of the degens have basically took over Stacks right now. So there's a whole bunch of degen shit going on, like tokens, coins, inscriptions, all sorts of stuff. And it now takes like 5 days. I'm not exaggerating, like days, like actual days for a transaction to confirm.
Has anybody ever...
days, not like hours, and I'm not exaggerating, like actual days. You can go on holiday, you can come back, and your transaction is still in the mempool.
It's ridiculous.
I'm actually liking this idea as a direction. And what I want to know is, has anybody ever run with the concept of creating a project called Crypto Sadists? And the whole point is to make it as difficult as possible to go through a transaction.
That's like Stacks. You just need to be on Stacks for that right now. You launch a 10K on Stacks right now, that's that project.
If you get through it, then it's a true badge. I'm just saying, like, that seems rare.
But to shill Stacks, I mean, I've been playing on their testnet with they've got a release coming up called the Nakamoto release. And we were told that there's going to be like 5-second blocks with finality settled on Bitcoin. And everyone's like, yeah, whatever. And Stacks was at like 12 cents at some point earlier this year when they were talking about this. And it's on testnet now, and it's 5-second blocks. Like, I'm playing with it, and I'm thinking, like, I mean, for reference, Ethereum has a block every 12 seconds. Since the proof of stake update, it's basically every 12 seconds on time, all the time. So the Nakamoto update, every 5 seconds there's a block settled on Bitcoin. Sounds quite exciting for Stacks.
Full finality on the Bitcoin, right? Too.
Yeah. I have no idea what's going on under the hood with a consensus mechanism.
That's what I mean. Like, it feels like a problem that it can't be solved because of that trilemma, right? Obviously, like, the faster you go, the security.
They have a token. So Stacks has a token. So you know there is an incentive there for miners and so on.
Yeah.
But it's quite exciting, and obviously the market agrees. I think the price is up maybe 800% this year or more. Yeah. So clearly people are seeing the fruits of that labor and thinking, actually, I've got a positive outlook on this project. And that's what I alluded to with blockchains as well. You can just wait and see what they do. And the market has proven that if they ship things that, you know, builders and the communities want, the price will go up. You don't have to try and be early all the time. And that's why I would just wait for Blast. And if like great teams start building great products there, yeah, I'll dive in for sure. Because then, you know, it'll have a positive outlook. So you don't need to ape in all the time to everything.
All right, Froggy's is saying cancel Nakamoto. DP is saying BTC maxis when all the ordinal bros gone yesterday. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Stone Crypt is asking for.
They're all turning. They're all turning. Oh. So all the maxis are turning slowly.
First they ignore you.
First they ignore you, and then 50% of all transactions are ordinals, right? And the miners love ordinals, right? The people. The people being paid to secure Bitcoin have never been wealthier thanks to ordinals, right? So, good luck telling those guys to give all that income up.
All right, Mark, this should be the final thoughts here. I know you do have to run here basically now. Any last kind of words you want to leave here with the unicorns and all the stuff you've got going on?
I'm trying to think of something that isn't encouraging people to be a degen.
The
hardest thing ever in this.
What are we doing here?
Degen responsibly is the best thing. You know, it, like, jokes aside, it's great to come in here for the fourth time through. I think I've been here through a bull, a bear, a bearish, and now a bull. What, like, all market cycles?
Yeah.
And you seem to see the same faces. Like, we see this at Megapont as well, right? It's the same faces that have stuck around for all of this, and are now laughing a little bit at, you know, everyone wrote off a whole bunch of projects and a whole bunch of blockchains. Solana is a good example of this. So, stay blockchain agnostic, guys. Like, that's the best advice I could give anyone. Don't have bag bias to a blockchain. I think it's the worst thing you could do right now.
Agreed, man. I love it. And next time we have you, we'll have to dive in a little more into you know, the Stacks project that it was the origins of all of this, which is Megapont and payments also. I'd love to get into payments as well.
Oh yeah, I can bore you for a good hour or so on payments. Don't worry about that.
What do you think about SEI?
About SEI? The token or the chain?
The Solana killer, yeah. The so-called Solana killer.
Again, like, narrative is great, right? It's one of those things. If you separate like the logical, the right curve thinking from this, like that meme that is everywhere in crypto, where you've got like the left curve and the right curve having fun, and the middle's just in tatters. Just be on either end of the spectrum here, and you're gonna have fun. I think we're at the time in crypto right now, especially in NFTs and DeFi, where it's quite hard to have a hard day. Right now, everything seemingly isn't just going up, but when it goes down, there's a little bit of humor there. There's a little bit of fun. There's builders around. So just don't overthink things. And I think the worst thing that you see right now, this is my last point, I promise, is just because you've missed something doesn't mean you have to FUD it to oblivion. Right? I think you've seen that specifically on NFTs. Like, oh, I didn't get whitelist.
That's why we have you on.
Yeah, I didn't get whitelist. This goes to 0. Or I didn't invest in Blast. This goes to 0. Like, just get a grip of yourself. Like, you can still not lock up your money in Blast, it run, and you still be like, oh, that's cool. Like, just because you didn't put into it doesn't mean it has to fucking fail. That's my advice. And I think the people who are having the most fun right now are just those that are thinking, if I win, like, cool. But if other people win, that's just as fun. Because they know that there's something else around the corner. There's always another chance. That you don't have to be mad for someone else for having a big win.
Well, Mark, I'm very excited for you to come on, and you're quickly becoming one of our favorite co-hosts here. Just know that we'll have to get a collaborator agreement in place soon. And if you're holding onto your NFT Live loyalty card after your 5th visit, you actually get a free footlong. So make sure that you get that clip on your way out.
You know, when I come back, he
doesn't talk about a sandwich.
I'm gonna spend 10 minutes at the end asking about this footlong. Like, I'm gonna not leave the show until I get like an Uber Eats footlong delivered.
10K footlongs coming to the SEI blockchain.
It would do well.
All right, I'm gonna put us back on track here. Mark, if you want to stay with us, feel free to do so. We're gonna hop into the rest of the stuff here that is happening across the ecosystem. But again, appreciate you as always. I think you are like our most
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Absolutely, man.
Awesome having you, man. Can't wait for the next one.
Let's go unicorns. Let's go Megapixies.
Let's get corny.
Let's get a little bit corny. All right.
Can we make that a slogan? Can we do something with corny?
He didn't like. Mark didn't like that. He left immediately.
Like, I better leave. This is devolving very quickly. I'm
gonna quickly go into the SEI ecosystem and just give a brief update. It looks like Pallet Exchange is partnering with CoolTimes, which is basically I don't want to say the voice of SEI right now, but CoolTimes definitely runs the most popular spaces on the daily. So it looks like we're getting a quick partnership there.
They must not know about our spaces.
Things that I would look at. Well, this is SEI focus. It's like called the SEI show. But Goblin apparently is coming out here pretty soon. This looks like a PFP project that's set to launch here.
Frankly, I'm shocked that we didn't lead out with this trailer. Are we even trailer maxis anymore? I don't know what's going on. Who are we?
I just can't with the 3D projects, man. Like, it just doesn't. I mean, I guess these look okay.
Then why are you trying to win allow list by tagging me and all their shit?
Because I want to fucking make a bag on a project. Hello. Maybe I'll jump in and maybe they'll be dope. Anyways, we have Goblin official launching here, powered by Balluna. I don't know what Balluna is on the SEI network, so I'm not very familiar. Can we not make a noise every time I'm doing something? Hold on. Let me finish, guys. Jesus. We have Goblin coming to WeBump here. You have 24 hours to be in the Discord. It looked like there was an action to take on the initial video as well, like repost, tag 2 people. I don't know how important this is. I don't know if this gets you whitelisted, but it says it is. All right, Saiyan's also with another announcement here, getting ready for Saiyan Swap launching this week. This looked to actually have a direct impact on the Saiyan's NFT collection. So it looks like there is going to be a Saiyan Swap. I believe this is DeFi. This announcement came out literally as we were live, so I don't know even what Saiyan Swap is going to be offering. Minus 50% of fees are returned as Saiyan airdrops. Not minus 50. 50% of fees go back to the dev team for future tooling. Trade, earn, and grow with us. I don't know if this is an NFT marketplace or this is a DeFi swap marketplace. I can't really tell from this. Swap.
That looks like DeFi, not NFTs.
Yeah, but it says select NFT.
Okay, I'm wrong. What do I know?
Yeah, Saiyan Swap select. It looks like a not as intuitive NFT swap service here. So Saiyan's pumping here. I'll take us over to the actual exchange here, the top NFT marketplace. WeBump doing well, still holding its SEI price for the most part. Dobs at 185. You can see Saiyan's did pump from like 200 SEI here just today. Colony's holding. Queck is doing all right. I think that's about it, guys. Like Saiyan by Colt is probably where I draw the line when it comes to legitimate projects here on the chain and things you should be paying attention to. I did go in and swipe sweep the Dobs floor yesterday. We don't really have to get into that. I did.
How many you got?
I got 12.
Can we see your bags? Can we see your say bags?
Yes, we could potentially see.
You got 12? Oh, fuck you. That's awesome.
Thanks.
Damn. You really did. You really did go sweeping.
Well, hopefully you feel good for me about it. All right. Yeah.
I do. I'm bullish on Dobs, bro.
Oh, dude, you got the one with the Argentinian jersey. That's awesome.
The Messi.
Oh, it's a Messi 10. You got 2 Messi 10 jerseys. I don't even have one. You should gift me one for being awesome.
Interesting. I'll think about it. We can talk about that after the show.
I will take that over a Biao fam. How about that for my winning bet? Instead of a Biao fam NFT, I will accept a Dob in its place.
Yeah, maybe we can vote on that. Let's do a DAO vote on that. So Dob, the reason I want to get into this project pretty early is because it's very clear they got a pretty good organic groundswell. They seem to be very memeable as a PFP collection. I think they are the winner as top PFP in the ecosystem. I really do.
More than the bumps now?
More than the bumps. I think bumps offer really great utility. I just think the art is much better. You guys always talk about it.
There's different types of PFPs and different qualities, right? Like they're not all PFPs are the same. Some of them are more art focused than others. Some of them are more utility focused. Some of them are more provenance focused. Some of them are more community focused. The Wii bumps strike me as cool specifically because they're like the early pixel utility provenance play. The Wii bumps are actually funner art. They're cooler. People like,
Dobs, you mean?
Yeah, sorry, Dobs. Yeah. So Dobs are like the cooler, funner art that people are like attaching more to, I think, the characters.
I would agree. So the reason GIF, I think you made a great point there. That's one of the reasons I bought it. The other reason is just the low IQ play of saying once this hits some type of EVM, 0.06 ETH is fairly cheap. When you look across these top collections on ETH, I think once they hit, it's not going to stay at 185 say for long. So there's only 5,600. There's not that many. Supply is pretty good.
Like
ownership, the ownership ratio is very strong. The engagement on X is amazing. That's why I have 2 of these, but I'm jealous. You got a filled bag there, Nifty Q.
I'm taking a calculated bet, man.
You're dobbed up, my guy.
Any other thoughts on Say? I know we've been getting involved in the ecosystem. Dragon Swap has yet to launch, but I showed you 2 projects to keep track of. And then
I hate that there's more goblins. I hate all the derivative nonsense, but it's part of it. Like it's part of, and the 3D shit is cringe. It's gonna be probably awful, but it'll probably do well initially, and then it'll probably trail off. Implode.
Okay, I don't know if we had. We do have Huda hopping in here. Hello, Huda.
Huda, what's up?
What's up, guys? What's going on? God damn it! This drives me.
You can hit that. You're okay. All right. I do want to have a quick tie-in. GIF, you were covering the CryptoUndeads. I don't know if Undeads are actually launching now. I want to tie this into how I'm thinking about Say with that catalyst piece, right? Because it feels like Say is getting a little bit oversaturated. I'm not seeing anything new that I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna pop off. It feels like some of the first time projects are the ones that are getting a bid, and nothing new is really kind of jumping in. It's in taking off. So I kind of want to bring this over to CryptoUndeads. It feels like one of the top Solana projects that we've seen in a while. Kind of come in.
The CryptoUndeads is interesting for a lot of reasons, but mostly because it's managed to just capture so much of the mind share in the conversation right now. And so everybody's been kind of picking it apart and trying to understand what's going on. There's definitely a coordinated cabal behind this, but they've also done a really great job using the multi-chain marketing tool Subber to get a ton of different communities. I mean, just spamming like every single community with allow list is absolute. Like if you can actually do that, which Subber I think now allows you to do pretty easily, dude, that's just a brilliant marketing tactic. I think we're going to see a lot more of it, which is why I'm now bullish on Subber as being a primary pickaxe or shovel in this next NFT market. So anyway, they haven't even shown off their fucking art. They're doing a great job with this hype. The thing about listing jobs is hilarious to me because like I just think that's really clever, subtle
growth hacking. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, dude, like just like you don't even have to tell people. You just like put it on your website somewhere.
Smart.
Like, oh, we're trying to hire a token guy. It's like everybody's gonna fucking run with that. It's so smart. And they may or may not have real plans to ever do that. They might just be like, let's see how it goes. Maybe we can figure that out. But assuming that like it's going to go as well as it looks like it's going to go, at least initially, they're probably going to raise quite a bit of money. And so the opportunity for them to expand and build out a real ecosystem is probably going to be there. One last interesting artifact that I did here is that somebody already, before it even launched, and we've seen the artwork or where they go, somebody already got a tattoo on their back of this project somehow. And people were already like, can we call a top signal before it's even launched?
Well, whitelist spots are already being sold like OTC right now. I will say, Biggie, you were making a point on GM Web3 this morning about the fact that there is no art revealed. Yeah, like it's a whole nother issue for this is like, how do they build out? They have all these plans to build out this whole IP. Well, we don't even know what it looks like.
Yeah. And I guess the reveal is going to be like an interesting mechanic. They said, "Are you? Do you know about that, Huda? The particulars of it?"
I don't know the details, but I just know that because the FUD is so high, right? Like, I mean, it just is. They do have a chance to blow people away if the artwork comes out and it's like absolute fire. That thing could really be electric. So I'm hoping for it. I got the whitelist, but I'm thinking it goes the other way.
Yeah. Ooh. Ouch.
So you did get a whitelist spot here, Huda.
I did, yeah.
Congrats.
So, thank you, sir. Yeah, I can't wait. I haven't had a good win in a while. It's an automatic win. I mean, dude, you said that the whitelists are already selling on secondary, and there's bids on the collection already for like 19 Sol. So, yeah, it'll do well to start.
Mm-hmm.
What's your play here, Huda?
I don't know. I think I just kind of ride it out and feel it. I don't know. Like, I think to me, anything's a win. I hear people saying crazy stuff like this is going to be like 25, 30 Sol. And I think it's closer to like, 12, 13. I think we quick dump on it. So I don't know. I'm just going to sit in there and see how it goes.
There's going to be probably a bunch of dummies who buy it right off the bat, like I normally do, and buy the local top. And then it's going to dump. Because, most people that are getting allow list spots, they're going to look at fucking 10 Sol, 15 Sol.
Hey, Gif, real quick. Your mic is cutting in and out. Kind of. Shit. It's like okay, I heard you clear there, but it's like it's kind of in that tunnel.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's good now.
Hello.
Keep going.
I'm just saying a lot of people are gonna buy in at the local top right after it launches, which again is normally my move, but then it's gonna get dumped because for like 10 to 15 Sol just for a free allow list is a huge win. Most people are gonna want to take that.
Well, the free thing, it wasn't free. You paid like, what was it, 2.5 to 3 Sol?
2.5. So it's so darn cheap that I agree with you.
No, I'm saying like there's been a ton of allow list giveaways though. There's been a bunch of people, or even the people that paid. That's a huge like 5 to 10x for immediately. Like a lot of people are going to take that, and so that there's going to be a dump. I wouldn't be surprised if Huda is exactly right. It probably comes back down closer, maybe even below 10 Sol. But I bet it holds probably around 10 Sol, and then maybe it starts to march back up.
I mean, dude, their strategy of going out and trying to get all these communities from Ethereum, like let's win over ETH guys. These ETH guys, I feel like we talked about this too. These ETH guys don't give a shit about your chain. Like we played there, or they played there while it was hot because that's what you're going to do. But none of them are really have conviction to like have a piece. Finally, I'm in the Solana ecosystem. Like they don't care. They're going to flip right out of it. It's again, especially if they have that whitelist, like they're out.
I will say the more this happens, the more taste they get, the more comfortable they're going to be just kind of staying over there, right? Yeah. It's like you kind of have that courting experience almost that the chain is having with new users. It's like, okay, first it gets hot and heavy as you continue. So I'm super interested in this. I was trying to bring this into play here with just kind of an overall macro look at this. Like if this goes well, this could be really bullish for the Solana ecosystem going forward. I feel like if it kind of falls flat, is there something else that's happening in Solana right now that's going to drive any interest into what's happening over there?
Dude, like, so I've been saying this for a few weeks now, like the momentum, and it's easy to see at this point, momentum shifting from Solana over to ETH and L2s. When I look at the indexes, though, it's so damn clear. Like Solana's down, God, I want to say like 15% now in the past 30 days, maybe even more than that. And Ethereum, it's the complete opposite. And the same with Polygon. So it did shift. It's continuing to shift. And to your point, you're right. If CryptoUndeads don't hit and aren't like the next thing, there's nothing on the radar there right now. The Jupiter drop.
I'm curious if aside on top of the whole, we're gonna build a Web3 brand type of ecosystem, they might not have like something up their sleeve, right? That they're not revealing on, because I think it's very clear that the collections that have launched on Solana that are doing well and holding like these very high floors are collections that also come with a product behind it. And I can't see how Dollar and the rest of the team are not cognizant of that and might have an idea there as well. Again, I'm just thinking, since we were talking about the whole token job post right there, like if they don't come up with an announcement as well as like, oh, well, we're not just a Web3 brand, we're actually going to launch such product, right? Which really, really help it sustain a higher floor level, I think.
I mean, that's it. Again, all the opportunity is on their side right now. If they put, again, the good art or they come out with some kind of utility, everyone's going to go ballistic over there. So again, good opportunity for them. That's why for me, I mean, again, staying in for 2.5 SOL, like the upside is worth hanging out, seeing what they do.
GIF, yeah, what's your...
Well, okay, besides the Jupe.io airdrop, there's also Saga Phone Chapter 2, which we haven't even really talked about, which, you know, is a strong narrative right now. Who knows exactly what that'll equate to, but I am curious, like what are the things that are going to actually pop up that turn Solana users into like I don't know, convert more of these people into like long-term daily users and adopters, and not just the sort of mercenary capitalists that most of them seem to be.
Yeah, Mark said it. Mark said it though, right? It's dApps. It's
you have to have good applications. So again, the Saga phone could provide some of that. What other applications are coming though? You know, I don't know.
So that's a good point. I'm hearing about building going on Solana. I think like behind the scenes, again, the people building in that ecosystem, I think it feels like they know something we don't. It feels like there is a lot going on in the building front right now on Solana, and so it's not the NFT project, it's more like the infrastructure and, like you said, the dApps and stuff.
I'll say one other thing just that's good about where Solana's positioned itself in this cycle, and I think a lot of people are starting to believe that, you know, they're just one cycle behind Ethereum, and so this will be like a major jump for them in this cycle, like Ethereum in the last cycle, but they're positioned to capitalize on a lot of the big institutional adoption too. So when you talk about things like ETFs and like massive influxes of investment capital coming in, it pretty much, in my head, from what I understand, goes Bitcoin, Ethereum, maybe like Ripple, and then it's like Solana. They're going to be adding new investment tools to a lot of these bigger chains to give more exposure and building this out sort of as we go. But again, now that the Bitcoin ETFs are approved, it should make it a little bit easier to get more of these ETFs and these crypto investment vehicles approved through the traditional pipelines and avenues. And Solana is right up there as one of the predominant speculative assets in crypto. I think the challenge that I've heard with Solana on that front is that a lot of people believe it's a security because of how it was raised.
I mean, they've been mentioned by the SEC, haven't they? Very specifically, they've said Solana. So that is something, it's something to consider.
Are we buying, and I want you all's comments here in the chat as well, are you buying a $450 Solana phone? I guess I probably would. I'm putting my cash elsewhere, but as far as like a return on investment, I think that these are going to be a pretty solid and easy play going forward. They've shown to reward the people that are holding it. It's that simple.
But
Yeah,
there's other ways to get airdrops, right? Like for $600, you can buy
That's why I'm not buying
TIA
it.
and stake
Yes.
TIA and get like exposure to the whole Cosmos ecosystem.
I agree. Opportunity cost, I wouldn't do it, but I'm just saying, if you're just wanting to do it, I don't think it's going to go that bad. NFA.
So I agree, and I love these thought experiments. I just think like, okay, what the Solana phone is $600, right?
$450.
Okay, what is it?
$450. This Solana
for
chapter two.
I would love to see a comparable of like what by the end of this bull market, like what value you got airdropped to you, assuming you sold, insta-dumped, whatever, what you got on Solana from the Saga phone versus say stakers of TIA, stakers of these other airdrop coins that are much more liquid. And let's not forget, you're not going to be able to resell your $450 Saga phone after you claim all the airdrops versus the other one where you do have a liquid token that you can immediately unstake. Well,
it's a bet.
They lock up and get your equity back.
It's a bet on a random airdrop happening of like an NFT that eventually takes off on Solana. Like they could easily drop that as a free mint for people that hold the phone.
I think if I'm a betting man, which yeah,
Are you?
I am betting that these do very well based on the current narrative of how the Saga phones have done and the possible airdrops of both NFTs and token rewards. I think most people will do the calculus and say, I'm easily going to get this value back, and I get the clout of getting an early Saga phone. So I think all of that combined means it'll do well. The other thing that we haven't really talked about that I think may actually be a bigger deal than a lot of people are even realizing, and it's part of why the Saga monkeys have done so freaking well, because if you insta dumped your Saga monkey just to like get $500 back or a couple $100 back, like you missed out on a 2 or 3x, because those flew up to like 14 SOL over the weekend. That's tremendous. Part of this being that apparently both of the Solana founders are rocking them as PFPs right now. What does all this mean? What's the fucking point? The point is they want to have their own hardware. They want to support this narrative. They want the phones to succeed. So if the Solana founders are basically going to also be backing all of this and trying to support any new drops or provide extra incentives to phone holders, this isn't just a phone that's supporting Solana. This is the Solana phone.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, man, I think this dude, my whole theory on these Solana phones has shifted so hard. It really is.
Gibbs died on this hill. He died on this hill on the
I don't see a
GM3.
Saga monkey or a fucking Saga phone being a flex the way, I don't know, like I minted a Bored Ape or like I own a CryptoPunk or hold a Squiggle. Like I just can't see it, man. It's a very long stretch.
It is. Okay. Is the Solana phone potentially a collector's item just all on its own?
Yeah.
If we think these guys are going hardcore into hardware, right? And that is the future, or part of the future of crypto blockchain. It's these
Generation 1 iPod is a collector's item.
Exactly.
It's a degen play, in my opinion. It's
right now it is
about the airdrops. I don't see a community forming around this. I'm sorry, like I don't.
Yeah. I would lean toward Biggie here. I love that we're absolutely 50% split on this as well, because the takes are there, right? Like both sides are here.
I am not saying it's definitely happening. I'm saying that my theory on why, like what
it's the base argument. It's Coinbase is going to support this chain, so
that's part of it.
Yeah,
that's part of it. But my major reason of why I thought it would fail was why it initially failed. But I didn't factor in why all of a sudden it's taken on a new life. And that's that now it's not directly again, this is why shit's totally different for me, is that I was like, okay, hardware is impossible. You literally are trying to compete to replace my iPhone. Good fucking luck. And yeah, we saw that fail. But now I'm realizing like, oh, actually it's more like this. It's that extra device that has additional utility that is also a flex for something else. It does not have to directly compete with Apple and Android to become a secondary, tertiary device that is some kind of node or utility play, and also a flex, and also maybe a collector's item. Who knows? But absolutely, old fucking gaming consoles and iPods and technology are fucking worth things now. So one of the first ever crypto hardware devices that
I see that you care deeply about the Solana. I would expect you to be placing an order here.
I'm making the case for why this is no longer an obvious failure to me anymore, and it might have legs.
We shall see. So Soul Pad, Soul Watch, Quantum Variants breaking out those products. Let's see what they can do. First of all, I didn't realize that Dobs had the Web3 jersey gift. Like, I was trying to look for a Web3 jersey last night. Like, this is sick. Second of all, Huda, what's happening here? Did we red pill you?
Dude, I just FOMO into everything you guys talk about. I kid you not. I like probably at least once a week we talk about something like, and I just go buy it. Batting average not high right now, by the way, but this time it's different.
Yikes! What are those other projects you bought? I'm interested in my calls that have gone wrong for you. I'm sorry. Yeah, nice looking Dob here.
Dude,
cool, right, dude? They look good. My only concern with the art, because it is cool, but a lot of them, like most of the collection, looks the same, unless I'm just not seeing
the background is very interesting too. Yeah, it's very drab almost. It's kind of the style they went.
What's the going price for a naked Dob right now?
That is a really good. Did Buffalo? Are you talking about what Crypto Buffalo was saying?
Yeah, I want to do that.
Yeah. There's these mini DAOs. I think Biggie, there might be something like this in Moonbirds. I think you were telling me about it.
There's plenty.
But, these sub DAOs pop up.
Trait-based DAOs, right?
Yep.
But dude, I'm curious what a naked Dob is going for these days. You know, au plein soleil. I want to run naked with Buffalo and our Dob.
You know what'd be cool? This art style. If the team went the route of DGods and they did updates for it, right? They did these like refreshed seasons. These would look cool as hell.
That's pretty cool. That's a cool idea. The one thing, just to be, again, not totally bag biased and be honest, I like pretty much everything about them, except the one thing that I do notice that is usually a negative to me when it comes to just analyzing the quality of the art on a PFP project is that if you go look through the floor, exactly what Huda's saying. There's a lot of sort of similar basic traits on the floor, and there's not that much variety. So I think they just didn't have that many total traits. And again, luckily it's not like a 10K supply, so it's not that bad. There's not that many. It's not that deep of a floor. So that's why it's not like a deal breaker for me. But usually when you go and you just scroll through a floor, you want to see a little bit more variety in there. So again, if I'm just being totally honest, that is something that stuck out to me as like, okay, it's not the best, but I do think that they're cool and interesting enough still, and the art is good enough, especially compared to other things that have launched early on the ecosystem, that I'm still liking it.
Yeah, GIF, my bigger issue, like with them all looking the same on the floor, is when I sort by rarity and I'm looking at the most rare, they basically look the same as the floor ones too. Like that's the part that kind of gets me.
Yeah, there's just not that much variation, but it's subtle. You know what? I think their whole thing is kind of subtlety. That's part of their thing.
By the way, the naked ones, if they've got like a little scarf on, that doesn't count.
That does not count. Yeah, we had that controversy already. Shout out to the naked. I would love, like, we're at the end of the episode. If this was at the beginning, I would have dropped the link and see if we can get all of them in there.
Q, you never pulled up my Dob, my first Dob when I can you
show me your link.
It's
Huda's Huda's doing a great job of showing me links. I got to go to your profile and be like, hey, I'm going to Gift Dead.
Represent the Dobs.
Thank you.
I thought you were a Dob. I thought you were in behind the Dobs. You got a whole bag. You're not trying to Dob me up.
I appreciate Huda making my job more efficient. Thank you, and thinking about me. All right, I think we mentioned the naked Dobs a little bit here. I will say, Buffalo shilled me this at like 600 say. That's not saying someone won't list a naked Dob at 600 say an hour from now, but they're up to 1,000 say. And it is like probably the most notable of the. They've already like formed some partnerships with some ecosystem projects. So naked Dobs are definitely
invisible swimming trunks. Love it.
Guys, I don't have much else. I do want to shill really quick, and I'm not in the project, but Mike Finch was mentioning HYPTOPIA. I don't know how much we know about what HYPTOPIA was doing, but he said that it's basically a play, like a GameFi play, but also he mentioned Xi nodes. So I don't know if there's a potential to buy a node here and potentially get some recurring revenue. Again, this is not financial advice. I haven't even bought any. Any thoughts here?
I thought Xi nodes already launched a long time. I think.
Oh no, he was saying this is like a play like that.
Okay. If it is, yeah, I'll take a look. That sounds potentially interesting and lucrative. So it's just too much. Like Mark said, if you miss something, it's no biggie. There'll be more.
I DM'd you, by the way, if you want to check your DMs.
Can you just drop it in the private chat?
I can't with my setup. I'm just
show
trying to
your
figure out.
job, bro.
Okay, I'm headed to my DMs. Real quick, before I share this, I do want to talk about Based real quick. It looks like Based Fellas, which is an NFT, very cheap, and I'm not even in Based Fellas. I'm in a couple others, but Based Fellas is potentially launching an NFT marketplace over there on Based. There is no native NFT like Pallet basically for Base yet, so maybe that's something to keep an eye out for. Otherwise, it's still kind of quiet over there on the Base chain. There's some stuff going on, but not too much. All right, I'm going. Gif wants to share his Dob. Let's go into his Dob. Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
Okay,
That's a cool one.
I like it.
I like the coat.
Look, you're getting a retweet. All right, so we hit him with the repost. I do like the coat, that like dragon kind of.
Oh yeah.
Enter the dragon type style.
That rare dragon suede velour
with the rainbow glasses.
Getting the Bruce Lee jacket thing. I thought it was more like a Confederate coat, but whatever.
Where my Dobs at? You know what I'm saying?
Confederate would be a wild take
Really?
to like go down that route.
Just put a rifle and a fucking bayonet on it, and
He's got like
a fucking hat, and it's
got like stars and bars on his on a tattoo.
Hey, maybe
That
he
would
did
be
some
awesome.
traveling, went over to Asia, got a dragon painted on his fucking coat, whatever.
Yeah.
Just took a trip to Chinatown.
Yeah.
Exactly. As one does.
Okay, last story I'm going to bring to you guys, and then honestly, just hit me with anything, but we've got about 5 minutes. Huda, the Flippering. I've said that more times than I'd like here on the channel.
Yeah.
We've got Pudgy Penguins continuing their rise. This is just a thread from Nat on maybe why we've seen that. Your thoughts, man. Flippering, tell me about it.
Yeah, the why? Dude, I have no idea why they ran yesterday. I saw people questioning if it's just straight manipulation. I legit don't know, because there was really no announcement that I know of, but we're also in this really interesting time where people are loading up with grails. It doesn't matter what collection, CryptoPunks especially, but we're seeing grail Bored Apes fly. We're seeing those sell. We're seeing, of course, the grail Azukis move. It just may be that, these one or two whales, they're like, shit, it's now or never. Like, I want to get in before somebody else has that same idea and I'm priced out. That's really where people are at this point. It's kind of a good thing too. And then Lil Pudgy's moving. It just makes sense, of course, being part of the same family. But I mean, as those Pudgies get out of reach, and man, they're out of reach at this point for almost everyone, Lil Pudgies are your only exposure to that ecosystem, right? So I see those flying much more. I grabbed one yesterday.
Q likes what you said. To think that they were 0.3 ETH, what, like 3 months ago, 4 months ago at the most?
That's when I got my first. Yeah. Dude, they're great. I think they're a little underpriced, although we have no idea utility still. Like, they get a fraction of the utility that the big boys get, but something just seems strange seeing them under like even 1.5, honestly, to me.
Huda, did you see Easy Eats post about bridging and using LayerZero with the Lil Pudgy? Like, I guess you can move Lil Pudgies to these different chains and like potentially farm an airdrop.
So I knew that you could move them. I know yesterday I heard you talking about the bridging and, for some kind of airdrop, and I haven't looked into it like beyond that. So I think I got to send my guy on a little trip.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, hell yeah. I'm actually tempted to get a second too. I really am. Like I have very good feels about the littles.
I felt extremely bad about selling a mutant just where we're at. I mean, I bought the fucking thing for like 9 ETH to do staking and all that stuff in 2022, at the end of 2022. So I sold it for 5 for these little pudgies. So I'm just happy that they're going fucking up.
They're
at
great.
This point.
And I think still they're moving, and we're all very optimistic about them. And Luca's not told us anything really coming. We know Pudgy World's coming, but man, I don't think Overpass is even out yet. I could be wrong there. Like, I'm so confused because I thought that was supposed to come last summer, but we still got Overpass. I'm sure Luca's got some kind of animation thing coming. Like, I'm sure. He just said that this year would be the biggest year yet. And of course, he's a brilliant marketer, but I believe the man is probably going to give us the biggest year yet for Pudgies.
As far as like building out the IP, there's really nobody that's done a better job other than maybe Bored Apes. And I know Marty's gonna FUD that, but they've created a lot of great quality content, you know, higher quality than anybody else out there. Obviously, they have the resources to fund super high quality animation and shit like that. But yeah, the quality of the content, all the GIFs, all the different things that we've been seeing from Pudgy is amazing. It's really fucking amazing.
You like the GIF,
and Azuki and Oniforce are probably next. You know, the quality of what Azuki's done, which hasn't been that much to be honest, but like what they did do shows potential at least. I'm trying to think of like others that have done really amazing high quality content. There's not that many. I mean, I love the models that Chiptos is building, but they haven't put it into that much content just yet. I don't know. When you think of like really high quality NFT IP, I mean, like what? Can y'all think of any others?
No, well, Elementals. What are your thoughts on Elementals at like 0.7? If that's still where they're at? I think that's a really
if there's a token coming and they're gonna have really high quality animation and like show stuff developing, it's probably I dislike projects to watch.
Your mic GIF.
It does that when we switch screens. It's weird.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Oh yeah, that it like cuts in and out sometimes. That's like a restream issue. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm mad at the way that they chose to go about launching Elementals, but that doesn't mean, you know, it's like, do you want to be right or make money? It's one of those.
People are gonna laugh, like, for whatever reason. Doodles are just easy to kick. Like, they're easy to just.
It's like, good content though.
Yeah, it is good content when people get faded for talking about Doodles, but Doodles is probably the other I'd point to be like, they've built out pretty good IP and as story and all this stuff. So that's where I'd go with that.
Great point.
Yo, shout out Cam Taylor. Chiptos is gonna be in the Nifty Island. Sounds like they were already having that convo, but hey, maybe we helped push that forward. I hope we did, but either way, congrats. That's huge news. Nifty Island does launch tomorrow, as a quick reminder. And I got some Chiptos, so maybe I can play a Chiptos character in there. That's fucking dope, dude. Congrats.
Let's go, Cam.
That's, dude. Hey, you know what? That's the beginning of all of their hard work starting to show some fruit there, because they now have these incredible robot models that Cam's been building. And so, yeah, they can integrate into a lot of these types of quote unquote metaverses or games, environments. That's awesome. Also, Marty's absolutely dragging me in the chat this today. I thought, Marty, if I was like nice and I gave you your due and whatever, that you'd actually like be nice to me. Apparently, it goes the other way.
Marty, don't do nice.
Elf of Rivendell saying I bought a Dob. Grail's getting swept. Hey, let's go. We're just, man, small powers of this show, man. We got might some Chipto stuff done.
I mean, like Nifty Q specifically, give him his due, but we collectively now might be the ones that turn Dobs into a real legitimate thing here. So,
strong words. Single-handedly.
Yeah.
Let's get him on the show.
Heavy metals are running. Actually, this is fucking awesome to see. I mean, these have been in the dumps for a long time. It looks like they're running to 0.24. Still way below our entry price, but maybe we'll get some more movement here later this week. So we will see. Guys, this has been a great episode. We had Mark from Megapont here earlier talking about what they're doing, teleburning to Bitcoin Ordinals. So just when does that happen? We didn't get an official date, but hopefully we get something soon. You guys have been awesome all the way through. Leave a like for these awesome content creators. Huda, Biggie Poppins, Gift Dead. We are going to be back here tomorrow. Guys, any last stuff here before we close out the episode?
Go ahead.
No, Gift, go.
Well, I was just curious on that last point about the heavy metals. Are they running because they are access to Dookey Dash 2?
Yeah, I think they're moving forward right into doing something, right? They were always part of this move with the Forge and all this stuff. So we're getting closer to the other side. You should probably see more movement on that front because they're involved in that.
Okay.
All right.
Huda?
Two things. Jared from 8nap has a Twitter Spaces, a weekly Spaces starting today. His first guest is
Lemonade.
Got Grant Yoon coming soon. Lemonade.
You got Lemonade. Yeah.
I don't know how to say his name, but yeah, big time collector. Guy's got bags. Big time collector, like awesome dude. But yeah, he's got Grant Yoon coming up soon too. He's definitely pulling guests. He's pulling in names. So just awesome guy. Expecting an awesome show. And then today, I think it might be at the same time, which is a bummer. Don't fucking miss this, guys. The Quantum Cat Spaces, right? The Taproot Wizards are having their space. Quest number 4 is how you start the quest to get a Quantum Cat. And again, everybody who knows this is one you don't miss. So you got to get in there.
There you go. All right, Biggie Poppins, what do we have from you, sir, as we end?
Nothing, man. Nothing but love for the community. This was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the talk thoroughly, and I will see you next tomorrow. I guess it is.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
And the next day after that.
OVOT. Love you, fam.
Gifted.
That's it, man. Hey, if you want to drop the Who Are We post, it's on the Web3 Twitter. If y'all want to give that some love.
Phone.
Yeah. I'm gonna go pre-order for Saga, set up a leather wallet, set up a Rabby wallet, do a bunch of dumb shit today, and I hope y'all have an amazing day. Our vibe. Oh yeah, there we go.
That's cool. I love that.
Put that in the chat, y'all. If you vibe with our tribe, go put some love on this. We're trying to get better about talking about ourselves out there on the X and what we're doing here, and we need your help. We appreciate your help. Those of you who actually engage, like the shows, share it out. Y'all are the true goats, and we see you. We love you. Thank you.
Kerry Ross saying bye to all of the co-hosts up here. DP saying, Huda, they better not name a dumb price like 0.2 BTC for a Quantum Cat. Marty McFly says, stop being so nice, Biggie. Justin Casey, Nick Swervis, Cam Taylor, Super Arsenal, Quantum Variant. You guys have been awesome all the way through. SP Jawa, thank you so much for tuning in. We will be back tomorrow, of course, with a brand new episode. So we'll see you there. Our vibe, our tribe.